Hello, everyone. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with William Faith Obi. He's a research and development expert at Magic Carpet Labs. William Faith has a unique background in physics and a passion for animation. William Faith, thank you so much for joining us today on this VOA chat. We are excited to learn more about your journey and the incredible work you are doing at Magic Carpet Labs and other parts of your endeavors. Now, before we get right into it, I always have this question that I ask my guests when we have chats like this. If you were a billboard, what will that billboard say about you?
If I was a billboard, it would probably be the if there's anything like the picture of a breeze. It's more like imagine a vast field with landscapes and mountains at the far end that covered with fog. It would just be like that kind of horizon, just looking, because it would say that I love love and I love life and creation and things that actually just make your heart want to bloom like a flower. Yeah, so I am. It's something that describes me very well. I have a Christian background. I know that many people might want to talk about this, but I think that it's very formative in my worldview, in the sense that there's a part of scripture that says that one thing have I desired and that will I seek, that I will dwell in the house of the Lord to behold and to inquire of him. So like I like to observe and I like to ask questions. And I just like to enjoy that process of just observing and asking questions. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot on one billboard, and I was looking for just one word that will capture you. But your billboard says a lot, and it just tells me your person, someone who likes bringing his imagination into life, and that's really impressive. Now, that would now boost into another question I would like to ask you. Tell us a bit more about your background and how you got into animation.
I'm a storyteller, so there are a number of ways to tell this story, but I'll try to come at it in a way that I feel that it will benefit your audience the most. After
just make it brief.
Okay. So I think you can't talk about my pivoting into animation without talking about Ferdi Adimefe, who is the CEO of Magic Carpet Studios. So I fell in love with his vision to tell authentic African stories and to bring African stories to the pinnacle of global entertainment. I was not necessarily too passionate about entertainment in particular, but I would know there was a big part of my soul that loved storytelling. And I fell in love with that vision to tell stories in such a unique way through animation, especially in Africa, because we have a treasure trove of stories that are yet unexplored, untold, and fast becoming a thing that is forgotten. And he had this vision to bring it up. And so the way I could contribute in that endeavor was research and development. Research is something I consider to be my life's work. And so I started with writing a few episodes. I started as a by-the-side contract researcher just to help create more depth in their stories by enriching it with like actual historical things that happen and just adding imaginative storytelling to facts and things that happen. So, or things that we are used to as Africans, or things that I just know from science. So that's where I started, and then quickly I became the research and development lead at Magic Carpet Studios, doing the same thing in a much more scale, not just telling stories, but also building products, and also developing the process itself by which we are more efficient in the things that we do at Magic Carpet Studios.
Right. That's really interesting. But while I was introducing you and while we were having a conversation some time back, you spoke to me about your love for physics. Now, I want to ask, how did your physics background lead you to animation? What was that connection between these two seemingly different fields?
The first thing that came to my mind when you just asked this was that it didn't quite, but that might not be very accurate, because part of, so I loved physics, and I actually wanted to be and I am on track to be an actual inventor. I know many people find Elon Musk public image controversial, but technically and in terms of invention, him, Nikola Tesla, and some of others are people I look up to very much, and people I aspire to be like. And that is the field I want to go to. But the problem with science is that the problem we have in science and academia is that you have lots of people who know what they are doing, who are very good at what they are doing, but they don't know how to present they don't know how to stand in the business world. They don't know how to transact. And business is how you transact. Academia and the scientific community, the experts there are usually bankrupt when it comes to business sense and economic sense in general. So in general, whether or not I joined Magic Carpet Studios, I would have sought something that grew me in the area of the business world. So because what happens when a scientist and a physicist, an inventor, isn't very versed in business is that whether you're just a creative, no, it doesn't matter whether you're in arts or in science, if you're not good in business, you can't scale and you can't really bring out that thing that is in you. At best, you'll be somebody's employee. And you end up, that's why we have Big Pharma, because the scientists themselves who want to create things that solve problems are not at the helm of affairs, but business people who want to continue to, who see that maintenance is more profitable than cure, right? So you have these problems at different levels because creatives are not in charge of their work because they just don't have business sense. So it was important to me to get into the business world. And so I had to tap into an area of my soul which connected to what Fedi was doing, which is storytelling. And it gave me the opportunity to be a storyteller, but also someone who also is very hands-on and very involved in closing deals, in brokering partnerships, in building products, in creating things that have to succeed, in learning about how a market works, how the economics of business works. And for me, this is like building a very crucial skill that is important when you are going, when you are actually going deep dive into like science and going hardcore. Because I actually am a laboratory guy. I want to be a recluse. I want to build something. I want to develop something that has never been created before. But I also want to learn how to sell it, how to get people to invest in it, how to get people to want to join me to create that thing. And that's a very important skill, I think. So did physics directly lead me into animation? Maybe not quite. It's more like a love for storytelling in a part in my heart, and then being swept away by the vision that Ferdinand Adimefe has for Africa and for Nigeria, and also the need that I know that I need to learn how to sell, how to trade in the business world. So it's a combination of those things.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, you in everything you said, I picked out particular things which were, one, you looked at it's your problem solving skills. In other words, you're trying to solve a problem, a gap. You're trying to bridge a gap that is you've seen that loophole in, and which is very important in your journey as well. Now, How does now we already know that there's now an infusion of arts in STEM, which is why we call it STEAM now. How does STEAM contribute to innovation and problem solving? I asked that because I wanted to get your thoughts on why is it the combination of arts and sciences, why is it important for the future? So that was why I asked, how does STEAM contribute to innovation and then problem solving at the same time?
It's important for people to know that the separation, how we separate things, like the departments of arts and the faculties of arts and the faculties of sciences, those things are artificial, right? The great geniuses of the world did not separate those things. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, he made designs. He made designs that were very physics related, but he was an artist. Largely was known for his for the drawings and all those things. But the great geniuses did not separate those things. We are the ones that separate those things. And for someone who wants to really create a change in the world, you need to really look into your soul and explore every part of it. Right? It doesn't matter where it leads you to, whether it's in the arts or in the sciences or in both. It's very important to look deep into your soul and explore it. That's how you create change. And also, when people get polarized one way or the other, it makes them even more narrow-minded. For a well-rounded individual, you need to, even Albert Einstein learned how to play the violin and some musical instruments. So the arts play an essential role in STEM, whether it's in general, the arts play a role in STEM, from inspiration, because there's a lot that we've been inspired by just by observing art or just by observing things in nature, perhaps, or to community itself. You noticed, I for one, I can tell when you get in the midst of all these nerdy people and they are not really good with they are not really very social or not very relational. So things like art helps in those situations. Art helps build community among scientists, among innovators, among creators. My cast is about to jump on. Sorry. So art helps a lot in those areas. So it's important. I would always advise someone as a scientist, you've got to really look into your soul and see those areas of art that you need to explore. Right? Art helps in STEM because it opens the doors. First of all, okay. I've said that, but I want to be a little bit more ordered in the way. I want to make this particular point. Now, if you are trying to build something, consider the world as it is now. There's a big knowledge gap between the layman and maybe someone who studied science in school, and that gap in a worldview is getting bigger. Right, and that is actually coming from part of it is coming from the fact that we have made these demarcations in school. So if you are an artist, you tell yourself you have no business with mathematics. You do. Art plays a role in science. Science plays an undeniable role in art. So it's like they are very symbiotic. It's important for people to understand that. For instance, if you have some knowledge of science, you'll be able to be an even better artist. And you will be able to use the tools of science to explore your creative soul. The tools of science are important to explore the creative soul, and the soul inherently is not like a computer. It's not like a computer, so it's not logical in that way. The soul in itself is this. Everybody has the soul of an artist, really, if you want to tell the truth about it. Everybody has the soul of an artist. Just some people explore some things and some people explore other things. But the tools of science are beautiful when exploring the soul, because it kind of gives you would you say, much more tentacles to be able to bring out creativity. I'm talking abstract right now, but I think it's important for people to learn how much it's important for both fields to be merged, because it's important for creativity. Now, when you come to the industry, for instance, I got a job because I am able to both merge the both, right? So people are, if I was waiting for some strictly STEM job, I might not be able to contribute in this particular field in this way. And maybe I would have gotten another strictly STEM job, right? But the problem would be this particular field will not be able to tap into that part of me that is both science and art, right? And that would be something that is missing. So, and we all need to be contributing in every field.
Yes. So while you were saying that, a question I had to jot down a question I wanted to ask, which is, having said all of the things you just said about merging these things and not keeping them in isolation of the other, how can we make our young people, now not even young people who are trying to find their feet, because we have this influx of people saying that it's better to just face one thing and not face the other. Just do one thing and you don't have to do many things at the same time. Now, my question is, what advice would you give to young people, anyone who is trying to venture into this field, in considering a career in STEM? And also, what strategies can we implement to make STEM education more accessible and engaging? So that, like you said something the other time, somebody's going into art class and feels that, I don't have any business with mathematics. Now, how do we make it more engaging and more accessible, where people will begin to enjoy these topics and not see them like an isolation or something that's very hard to do?
As per your first question, I know I've said this before, but let me tell it as a very short story. Two case studies. Nikola Tesla had inventions. Nikola had very brilliant inventions that some people say that some of the things he discovered had not yet, and nobody has rediscovered them again. Some people talked about wireless electricity, and there's a whole stuff that is told about Nikola Tesla's patents that are not many people don't know about anymore. But one of the things about his stories, I take time to study people who have come before us. I take time to study them. One of the stories about him was that there was this businessman that he wanted to do business with, and the businessman could not see. He was depending on him to both invest in his projects and to sell it. So the businessman could not see what he was trying to build. Nikola Tesla was trying to solve electricity for the world once and for all, and he could not see it, and therefore, because of that, he did not invest. That project became stunted. On the other flip side, 100 years later, Elon Musk came to the fore. And so when he realized what he wanted to build, the first thing he did was to back up a little bit and build something small, sell it, flip the money, build something again, sell it, flip the money, and then bought a used rocket, which he started to build from. And he trained himself, Elon Musk this time, trained himself in the economics after studying physics. He trained himself, he studied economics and learned how the business works. Today, he is the wealthiest scientist alive and the wealthiest man alive. And because of him, space travel, reusable, easy straight space travel is possible. Electric cars, is possible. We are on a fast track to acceleration in artificial intelligence. All those things. He is at the frontier of science, and he is pushing it, whether or not the government likes likes it or not, whether or not investors like it or not. He is a scientist, already has that, so he understands that. So I'm telling him, I tell myself, first of all, this every time. And I also tell people, it's so important that you stop looking at this like, oh, I'm going to, study math or maybe study history or whatever you want to study. And you are thinking to yourself like, oh, I'm going to be somebody's employee. It's okay to be somebody's employee, but you've got to have a vision, a big vision that drives you. And if that big vision means that you have to learn something in the arts, pursue it with all your heart and go learn it.
So I would like to ask you, how can VOA and other organizations collaborate with Magic Carpet for youth empowerment, and what kind of partnerships would be beneficial? While you do that, I would also like you to tell us what future goals and aspirations are for the company as well.
We are in interesting times as Magic Carpet. VOA can partner with us in the area of education. Magic Carpet has an initiative called Magic Lab Academy. It has become like a full-blown animation academy, training hundreds of animators and creatives around Africa, around Nigeria. And we also have a very fully functional online program where you can learn at home. So it's remote enabled. So we are very happy to collaborate with VOA to help train young people who are coming up, who are interested in that kind of work, or just want to learn the skill, or you're considering taking up a career, whether temporarily or permanently in the animation industry, or you just want to have that in your portfolio. We have already partnered with so many people, Lagos State government. We are US and Canada accredited. We are accredited in US and Canada. So we also are currently partnering with MasterCard Foundation to train and even broader large number of people. So yes, we are very open. Actually, I talked to Ferdy, CEO of Magic Carpet, before now about this, and he's very happy about the prospect of partnering with VOA. So I think that will be a very easy conversation. We'll be very happy to talk with Victoria and the rest of the VOA team and see what is possible. Yeah. So
yes.
Education.
Yes,
yeah,
we have quite yes. So we'll be happy to have that conversation afterwards. But in a few minutes, just tell us what's next for you and Magic Carpets, and what are your future goals and aspirations as the company evolves as well.
Sure. We are at an exciting place at this company. We are just about to roll out a series called Meet the Igwes. It's a series that we created. It's a sitcom, so it's going to be comedy. It's created around the theme of Lagos, Nigeria, and working class and middle class Nigerians, and all the satire that you see everyday Nigeria. So just put all of that into one series, and it's going to be the live action equivalent of it might be Papa Jasko, but this is animation now, and it's going to be very beautiful. It's called Meet the Igwes. Yeah. So we are about to roll that out. So that is we've already created some episodes of it, and many people are knocking on the doors for distribution. What's it called now? Licensing deals. They want to licensing deals. So we are in conversations with that. Very soon you'll see it on one platform or another. The second project is also another one for which I am particularly a point person, Passport of Malapedia. So we took we took this novel, Passport of Manabilia by Cyprian Ekwensi, a novel that has been read in all of West Africa since 1960 to date. Hundreds of millions of people might have read the book, and so we turned it into an animated film. So it's 2 hour long, beautiful animated masterpiece. It's in the works, it's in progress. But it's made to look like Prince of Egypt, Lion King, that kind of style. So it's like 2D animation. So it's going to be like really, really, really classic, really, really beautiful. So we are raising like $500,000 to complete the project, and we are at a point at a studio where we have, we've done work for Cartoon Network, we've done work for Microsoft, some of the big studios. But we want an opportunity right now for people who believe in our vision to kind of join us and, come alongside us as we unveil some of our own projects that are original, like done by us and created by artists here. So we want to unveil that. We are inviting people to invest in this. We're inviting people to like come alongside us and invest in this and share in the revenue, but also etch their names into the history as we make history and make history with us. So I'm sure any person you contact, or if you contact Magic Carpet Studios, so you can contact me at rd@Magic Carpet Studios, at magiccarpet.studios. All right. And
awesome.
we'll tell you a lot about this. We give people demos on the project, and we tell you more about the investment opportunity. So Magic Carpet is moving forward, and I am moving forward right alongside it. And so we have these projects. We are also working with in the education side. Like I told you, we are expanding our education very massively. We are breaking into the United States, as well as spreading across Africa, just trying to make animation much more accessible to as many people that want to join alongside us, because the animation industry is actually growing. So when we are making films and creating projects, we are not just making films, we are building an African industry. And we are tired of just making films as contractors for foreign clients, or just creating IPs and selling them off. We want to build at the African animation industry, especially in the film and entertainment, so that we have a catalog of things that people can go to, and see and watch from our stories, from our history, from our culture.
That's really fantastic, and that's interesting to know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, William Faith Obi, for sharing your insights with us. And one thing that stood out for me and the work you do is how you are telling the African story to shape it for a global audience. And you've mentioned quite a number of projects that Magic Carpet Labs are working on, and while you yourself are also a point of contact for most of all, or maybe all of them. Thank you so much, and well done to you guys. And we're looking forward to more collaboration with you and VOA Foundation, and for the empowerment of the young kids who do not have that opportunity and would like to venture into all of these spaces. Thank you so much, William Faith Obi, Creative Research and Development Executive at Magic Carpet Labs. Thank you so much for being here with us on VOA. Yes, so our website will be scrolling down on the screen for you to visit our website and follow us across all our social media platforms. If you want to donate, contribute to the charity organization, you have the website and how you can be a part of the foundation. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a lovely time. Bye-bye.